everyone. It is Sunday, June the 15th, 2025. I am Doug. It's time once again to play some Wordle. Today we hear from Evie Genie. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Apologies if I did not. Who writes, "The sun is shining very brightly in June." Indeed, it for the most part is. How about shine is a starting word? I like that. That is a fantastic example of a starting word. All superstar letters across the board. 2 classic vowels evaluated, a vowel in the middle. Boy, it checks off all my favorite boxes. So let's see what happens if we shine today. Okay, all right, there you go. An I out of position is what we get here. I'll take whatever I can on that first guess. We've ruled out the letter E, so there you go. That's interesting. Again, that I is not in the middle. Could there be something in the middle that's a vowel? Maybe. Not quite sure, though, if that's necessarily the direction I'm going to go here. I thought about the word tonic a moment ago in my head, but of course the letter N has been evaluated, so that won't really get me anywhere. I suppose I'm inclined, if I just want to think about the I for now, maybe moving it one spot over to the left. Now that, let's see, what can I do in terms of going and putting as many good quality letters around it as I possibly can. I was going to say right, but of course the H has already been evaluated as well. I feel like I'm trying to force myself to put an R by the I. There's other possibilities as well. Oh, I've got one. There we go. How about we try the word title? T-I, not title like the title of a book, but title like a tidal wave, T-I-D-A-L. That, of course, brings in yet another classic vowel for evaluation. T, D, and L, fantastic consonants to look at as well. Perhaps a little intel on that letter I. Again, kind of checks all the boxes off for a nice second guess. So let's go ahead and see what happens. It's Sunday. Let's do it together if we're lucky and get the answer. Is the answer to today's puzzle the word title? No, it's not. And okay, but we've got some good information here. Check this out. We have an L in position. We also have an A joining the party, the A and the I out of position. Now, I would tend to believe that it is likely, of the 2 possibilities remaining for I, that it's going to be in the 4th position. I also wonder to myself if we are looking at something where we have A-I-L at the end. Now, something like trail is the first thing that comes to my mind, or snail. Neither of those apply because T, S, and N have all been evaluated already. Having said that, perhaps something like grail would apply. That would test my theory about A-I-L. I suppose you might also potentially have a scenario with avail is an answer. I feel like that might have, why do I think I recall that being a recent, not terribly, I feel like that might have been a recent answer, but here's the thing, I will freely admit, I don't have all the previous Wordle solutions committed to memory. I know that there's certainly advantage to doing that. I will freely admit I don't have that. I'll be honest with you, it's kind of a casual player. I'd be hard pressed to remember the last 2 weeks of answers, but nonetheless, I think Grail is a outstanding third guess. I like my AIL theory here. I feel like we've got ample runway to run with it. It might be the answer. So let's find out, ladies and gentlemen, all together now. Is the answer to today's puzzle the word grail? No, it's not, but look at that. AIL, right on the mark. Okay. So that leaves me again back to wondering about avail. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. And maybe to kind of help triangulate this a little more, I'm looking at it right to left. Like if it's not avail, What would be a reasonable letter that could fit in that second spot? And, as I'm talking, so, okay, there's actually a really wacky spot here. I suppose you could make the case that you could also look for quail, Quail. Well, that's wacky. So quail and avail are potentially players here. I don't see, and I guess this is a good thing, right? I'm not upset about this. I don't see the case for any of the other letters here. Obviously, I can't repeat in the second. We've already tried that. I suppose there's actually three possibilities here now that we check the dupes. So it's not going to be AAIL, it's not going to be IAL, but it could be LAIL. So here's what we've got. We have potentially quail, avail, and flail, another possibility. Now, we have three guesses remaining. I am hopeful that I'm not missing anything. The part that gets a little tricky here, so with flail, we're putting in FL, a double L and an F. With quail, a Q and a U, and avail, the second A and a V. So they don't have any crossover with each other. So it's strictly, if my sense is correct and I'm not missing anything, then it's going to be, we go down the line and we're going to get it in 4, 5, or 6. If I am missing a possible answer here, and it's the answer, well, we're at risk of not solving the puzzle today. So this is definitely potentially a little bit of a scary spot. But I'm vamping here, talking while I'm scrambling to analyze the letters on the board. I feel like there's only the three possibilities. I guess it doesn't really matter which one we test in what order. So let's start with flail. That's me taking a deep breath and see where we go. Guess number 4 is the answer to today's puzzle, the word flail. No, it's not. Okay. So now we have 2 guesses left. We have quail and avail that we believe in. I have to start wondering to myself, is there a way we could potentially try to work an eval in here, right? Why would we do that? So in the event I'm missing something and avail or quail are not the answer, what I would be looking to try and determine here, because if it's avail or quail, the V or the U can only be in one place. So if I get an evaluation word here going that has a U and a V in it, and could I come up with something that maybe also has at least one other unevaluated letter for coverage? And if that evaluation reveals that neither the V or the U light up and I'm missing something, I at least go into my last guess with a much limited number of letters that would be forced to try to position in the second spot, right? So part of me wants to play the quote unquote really safe strategy here. Trying to think to myself if that's really something I have to do here. Now, of course, alternately, instead of the V going in, I could put a word with the A in the front. I just realized that. I would want the U somewhere, obviously. But could I put the A, the U, and the O somewhere? Again, I'm just trying to. So here's one way. Here's what we could do. We could test for avail with the A here. If we did it as an eval, the word about, we cover the U for quail. And we also look at the letter B and the letter O. Why do I care about that? And again, if it's not quail or avail, the O is the only other vowel that's any kind of a player here. I don't think the Y matters here. I can't imagine any universe where it does. So I would be very limited in where to look for something unique in that last guess. If about doesn't do one of two things, doesn't light up the A green or light up the U in yellow. I don't think there's any other a blank AIL word other than avail. So again, I'm really doing a lot of analyzing here just because we're very short on guesses, and I'd rather take the extra time to be sure than risk losing the puzzle. So we're going to play it extremely safe here. This is extremely safe. I know some people aren't thrilled with that, but it's what we're going to do. And go about for eval. Hopefully it will reveal either avail or quail. So here we go, about for eval on 5. And look at that. There is the U. There's the U. Okay. So again, before we, there is, the U has to be, again, in the second spot. I would be absolutely shocked if I was wrong about that. And there is, again, I'm being so careful here because we're on that 6th guess. But the only thing left is quail here. Again, I cannot see a universe where I've missed this. So we took a lot of extra time here just to be safe here, but I think we're where we need to be. So let's see if we can't wrap this up in a neat little package on this Sunday. Let's say it all together. Is the answer to today's puzzle the word quail? Yes, it is. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So was I playing that too safe? Was I a little too scared of that? I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel. It was just, I see avail and quail. Again, frail, and there's no crossovers. So, yeah, maybe I played that a little safer than I ought to, but at the end of the day, we got it in 6, and I guess that's what kind of matters here, right? So there you go. Hope you had a good puzzle. Let me know in the comments how you did as well. Of course, we're always taking your favorite starting words, and if you do enjoy watching my content, please consider liking and subscribing. It costs you nothing, and it helps us out quite a bit. Tomorrow is Monday, and we are going to have a good day. We're going to start with the word fudge. Nothing like a little fudge on a Monday. It's quite the treat. Apologies to anyone carb control diet like myself. Nonetheless, thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow with some more Wordle.